Yo guys, what's up? Nate here from Protoculture and Shadow Chronicles. Welcome back to Sonic Academy, and today I have set myself a little challenge. We're going to take a fairly mundane sample and using a bunch of different methods try and transform that into something completely new and musical that we can write a little piece of music with. The star of today's show is, of course, the humble Cowbell.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
We'll start off with just the raw sample and then create 3 different elements to work with using completely different methods of synthesis and sampling. If you guys have suggestions for future samples that you'd like to see transformed, please leave a message for us in the comments. We'd greatly appreciate that. Also, if you guys enjoy this content, please make sure that you leave us a like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notifications bell so you can see more content like this. Right, I got my coffee. I've got my sample ready. Let's get into it and see what we can come up with. Cool, so I really wanted to kind of illustrate to you guys how you don't always need to grab new packs and new synths to do interesting stuff. There's a lot of sounds all around you at all times. If you just use your creativity a little bit, you can transform these into some pretty different out there sounds. I've got a pretty simple cowbell sound, just a mono sample from a Dr. Rhythm, a Roland Dr. Rhythm, I think, or Boss Dr. Rhythm. This is what it sounds like. Cool, and I'm not going to use this as a percussion element. I'm going to try and create some fairly musical stuff out of this. So I've got 3 different methods in mind. Let's get started with the first one. I'm going to create a guitar sound from this. We're going to jump into Falcon first. So Falcon is really a fantastic tool for kind of mangling and stretching your samples out to the limit. First things first, we're going to just get a new patch going. We'll jump into Tree View, add a new program, and a new layer, so we can import samples. We'll drag this down into the mapping window and let's map this out on the keyboard. Just find the root note for this quickly first. So we'll just set this to C for now. We can kind of tune this as we go with the other ones. Great, so what we're going to do is kind of some physical modeling here. I'm going to use this sample of our cowbell to excite a physical modeling patch to kind of create like a stringed instrument. So to do this, we're going to jump into the pluck module inside of Falcon. Take a listen to what this has done instantly. Cool, so this needs a little bit of work. Let's just dial in some settings for this. We will bring up the noise a little bit, so that cowbell is going to be exciting a noise generator, kind of emulate strings a little bit more. Let's just try and make this a little bit more organic as well, try and get the realism up. We'll use some velocity to modulate the brightness of that. I'll just bump up these strings. We could actually add some velocity modulation to this as well, so we can kind of... So now a harder press is going to get the string to vibrate for longer. Cool, and we'll just dial in some release on our amp envelope as well. Cool, let's get into the effects section here. There's a little bit of a harmonic that I want to get out quickly with a bit of equalizer. We'll just do the default digital EQ. Let's add in a little bit of compression. Program level, we can go and add in a little bit of modulation as well. Add in a bit of an analog chorus. And a small bit of reverb as well. Cool, and let's get some notes into this. Just mute our cowbell. We'll just loop that. We'll just tidy up the notes quickly. Great stuff. There we go. We will leave that there. Move on to the next sound now. And just loop that. Let's get a bass sound going on top of this. For this one, we're going to open up an instance of Vital. Vital is a free wavetable synth that you can download now. It's got some cool functionality with the wavetable imports. So we're going to bring in the Cowbell as a wavetable here now. Let's just open up this. We've got our default patch. Go into wavetable edit mode. So first things first, let's just remove the wave source that we have here and add a audio file source. Then from the Explorer, we can drag in our Cowbell. Right, so let's set up a few things here. We're going to hit normalize. We're going to go with a spectral blend, and we'll set this to vocode for this instance. Now to get some movement in this, we're going to need to add a keyframe inside of Vital. We'll add that there. So we've got the starting point playing from the beginning. And then from there, it's going to play to around there. We could play around with the window size as well. So it's currently 370. Let's try 150. Let's play around with that. We'll see how that goes. So we've got our Cowbell wavetable, obviously sounding quite different now from what we originally had. I'm going to open up a second oscillator here now, and we will bring in some basic shapes. We'll use a sine wave. And we're going to modulate the sine wave with the wavetable that we've just created. So let's just set up the FM from oscillator 1. And let's get some movement happening on that wavetable. We'll bring in a filter. Make sure these are both going through to filter 1. Let's jump into our effects page now as well. We'll just enable some compression. Stick this into single band mode. I want to EQ out some of the mids. Let's play in some notes on this. Right, let's move on to the last sound. So anytime you got sort of percussive stuff like a cowbell, when you sort of plucked string or something, it's typically a pretty good candidate for granular synthesis. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to dive into PadShop Pro and see what we come up with. Let's just experiment with this little cowbell here and time stretch this first. Okay, so you can hear there's some weird sort of fluctuations going on there. What I'm going to do is just quickly jump into Very Audio and try and smooth those out. We'll turn on Very Audio. We'll grab this time stretch section and try and quantize the pitch and then straighten the curve, see what we get. So let's jump into PadShop Pro and see what we come up with. I'm going to turn on both layers for this. I'm going to drag in our time stretched cowbell. And let's get some grains going. We'll set up the loop points first. One to about there. We're going to set this to alternating. And let's get some speed going on those grains. So you can see as the playhead moves through there, we're going to set the number of playheads up as well. And then dial up the spread so that they start in different positions. That's a good start. Just set up this layer first. Might actually filter these slightly. Let's jump into the second layer now. We're going to use the same sample again, but we're going to switch this over to the spectral mode, and let's just flick the crossfader all the way across to B. So this one, we can slow this right down. Again, we're going to set this to alternating, and we'll just bring this loop point all the way back to the beginning. And now we're going to try and extract some of these sort of more tonal harmonics and get rid of sort of the sort of glassy, scrapey stuff on top. So by dialing in that purity, you're just pulling out the harmonics from that sound. We'll do some sort of unison kind of vibe with this. And let's dial in our envelope. So now we can blend between the sort of more dynamic granular mode. And we'll jump into the effects page now as well. A little bit of chorusing, some delay to catch some of those grains. We'll sync that to 8 dotted notes, and then wash the whole thing out with reverb as well. And let's try and add some notes in to play this along with our other sounds. Right, so just adjust some levels, a little bit of EQ. And of course we've got to drop the original cowbell in here. And let's take a listen to what we have. There you have it. So from a simple cowbell like this to 3 pretty usable sounds, all from that one sample. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I love doing this kind of creative sampling stuff. There's a ton of really, really cool things you can do. So if you are enjoying these, please make sure to leave us a comment down below and let us know what kind of sample you want to hear transformed in another video. I'll catch you guys soon right here at Sonic Academy. Cheers.
Thanks everyone for watching. We really appreciate the support from you guys. If you liked this video, then smash that like button, and if you want to be notified about new content, hit the subscribe and the bell notifications. Peace!